Hi again, folks. Pete the Psychic Medium, and we're continuing on with the Sam story. And this is the seventh, I think, vlog in the series. Now, at the last one, we had a very, very happy Danny. Oh, yes, I'd like to say it with each one of them. This is for spiritual development and entertainment purposes only. Now, the entertainment purposes only, I don't think it's necessary because I don't think there's anything I'm putting up that I could be sued for, unless Sam decides to come back and sue me. But anyway, I need to put that up there. Now the other one, the last one, in 6, I was saying about Sammy was just unbelievable. He was so happy. He was in Switzerland. He was on his way to university. He was a teenager. And I'm talking about in the spirit world, not in the physical world, as I said. He had reconciled with his partner, but in a sense that was not, lovers are embracing. No, she was in a higher realm, spirit realm. So it was all that, but he was quite happy with the status that he was in. At the end of that last session, I was going to read this bit, but then I thought, no, I'll leave it till here because of the time factor. So on Sunday, the 3rd of June, 2 days ago, 2 days ago then, Danny and I attended the ISIS spiritualist meeting at the Childers, Queensland. There was a psychic place that we used to go to. And we were there, and for the first time, we were able to share our separate experiences of our encounters with Sam. Suffice to say, our sharing was well received and their encouragement very much appreciated. Now, what had happened is we both got up at the spiritualist meeting. There were about 30, 40 people used to come on a regular basis. I was the guest psychic. I'm not a spiritualist, a member of the spiritualist organisation. But I was called on, about 4 or 6 times a year to be the guest psychic. And this particular time, Danny had come, and I said to the group, I hope it's all right with you. We would like to share something. And we went through what we had encountered. Danny started off because he knew the story of Sam long before I'd come along. And we explained it. And it was stunning. And it was something that I was looking at because I was watching the audience as Danny was talking. And you'd look at the faces, and some of them were just poker-faced. Others were, you get the eye movement. There was something going on, Gee, my eyelash is a mess. And it was something that actually shook them. And afterwards, we did have a few people coming up and sharing or asking, for more detail. And of course, the difficult part is, but what was he doing going here? Because I had the split soul theory out, very, very raw in those days, but very few people have even heard of the split soul theory. And so there were all these questions coming from, but how could that be if this was, this was happening? But it was good. It was great that we had that interest. Okay, so then we're coming up to the 19th of July, 2018. And I received an email from Danny. And the email said, I got a message from Spirit to say that Sam would be with me at the time I started up my wood heater, Mr. Squiggles. And I mentioned that in the previous one. They were right. He came right on dusk, just as Mr. Squiggles puffed its first smoke. He started with an apology. Now, I'm just thinking, for those that didn't see the one before, no, Dave is not a smoker of the funny stuff. It's a fuel stove, and it looks as a gas cylinder being turned into a fuel stove, and we call it Mr. Squiggles, and it's all explained in the one before. Go back, go to number 1, work through, then you won't need to ask those questions. Oh, he's a nasty bugger. Forcing us to go back to the first of his blogs. Ooh, something got in my mouth. He started with Danny talking, and Sam started with an apology, and then to thank me for all that I had done for him in his life, and wished he had taken more notice of what I had offered him spiritually before his passing over into spirit. Then he complained because I had confused him with the windows. Sam had said, I was in a hell of a mix with those windows, Danny. I had no idea what window I was supposed to go through. Did you mean Garuba? Did you mean the private hospital where I passed over? What did you mean? Danny, I didn't say anything because I didn't know what he was talking about. And then Sam is continuing on. So for further reference for others, it might be wise to help. Where are we? For the future references of others, you might be trying to help come across to here. Best if you leave the windows out. They're right there with us when we're talking to them, and not just give it to us straight. Yeah, just give it to us straight. In other words, bit of a jumbled phrasing, but that's Give it to us straight. Straight. Where's straight gone? Down there. Danny said I was totally in the dark. I thought I did give it to him straight, but I didn't think he was listening to me too much, so I changed the subject and brought up the subject of love and relationships. And he said, how's Jill? Do you still keep in contact? Yes, but it's different now. Now, I've got to break in here. If this is a continuation of the last vlog, it's the same blog, the last vlog, and Sammy is euphoric and going all over the place, yet he is talking to Danny as if that part didn't exist, the part talking to me, and he's carrying on from the circle that Danny and I had with Mr. Squiggles the time before when I'd gone down Harvey Bay. That's what I was saying to you about time continuum. When he and Danny got together, that was the page of the book that was put up for Danny. And the page in the book for me was after, because obviously there wasn't anything that Sammy had needed. We'll have to find out as we get further along. But there wasn't anything that was needed from me. But from Danny's perspective and Sam's perspective, that, for whatever the reason, needed to be sorted from Sam's perspective. So timing and spirit is all over the place. There is no set timing. This is why I feel like I'm a professor now, only because they were the teachers and they taught me. But there is so much that we don't know. And I don't know how the hell we're ever going to get to know in the general common for all of us to understand. I just hope someone up there has got a way of breaking through and having us understand all of this. All right, I'll keep going. Where was I up to? Yeah, Danny had asked Sam about his wife Jill. Yeah, but it's different now. And then Danny said, we never own anyone or their soul. They are free spirits like you. And Sam, as you know, I've had relationships and I still love them. I love them all in different ways. And I am thankful to them all for their involvement with me. And Sam replied, yes, I fully understand that now. I've learned a bit. It's like a factory here, and we are all in the different departments learning different sections of life. Time frame. We see things differently from here as we look down to where you guys are, and there is a lot we do not see, and just as well. Some of it is very dark. Danny said, Sam did say, Danny was saying, Sam did say he sees me differently and is humbled with the light that surrounds me. He said he'd be paying you, Pete, a visit if he hadn't done so already, and looks forward to chatting to us both again someday. Jill and I chatted from time to time, and she thanks us very much for our work. She said we both knew her in another life quite some time ago and look forward to working with us again. Now, I don't know, I don't think either of us have got anything more on that of Jill having been in our past lives. Maybe. I'll never say no and I'll never say yes. I just, maybe. After reading Danny's email, which was first thing that morning, I became concerned that maybe Danny was hinting to me that the window thing was, in so many words, a make-up, and that he may have doubts what I had said to Sam, because it had been me that had mentioned, or my spirit friends had mentioned the window business, not Danny. So, and there was this confusion. So my plan after a morning ablutions, dressing and breakfast, was to check with my guides as to what to do next. I was sitting on the throne, Mother Nature, so to speak, when I got a message from my guidance that Sam wanted to chat. As soon as I'd done my deed, I returned to the computer and typed this session. Good morning, Sam. He was a bit difficult to hear, then he cleared his throat. That's you, Pete? Yeah, Sam, how are you? Okay, but still a little confused. Nothing like I was, though. So glad you're peaceful and rested. Yeah, that was a rotten time to go through. That definitely was hell. 24/7 reliving the same shit over and over, like in a fetal position, not wanting to move, just existing 24/7. Me. Had an email from Danny, just finished reading it. Seems like you had a chat with him last night. Yeah, I was telling him how sorry I was for how I treated him. He was direct with me and I didn't like it, but he was right. Yeah, he mentioned that. He also said you didn't like the window case because it confused you. Yeah, you could have done without that. Didn't know where I was supposed to go. All the confusion. So was it the window at the hospital or the window in Switzerland? No. Those are the windows that you and Danny kept throwing up. What other windows Danny and I were throwing up? Didn't know where I was going. As far as I know, Danny didn't talk about windows, it was me. Quite adamantly, he said, no, it was Danny too. So can you explain the windows? Can you expand a bit more? He wanted me to step through into another place, through a window, but I wanted to stay where I was. It wasn't the Switzerland one, and he wanted me to leave the room. Did you stay where you were? No, because he kept insisting I go to another window. You know how when he gets a bee in his bonnet, you got to do what he tells you? It's a bit more likely how Sam was with Danny. Anyway, laugh at that. I really wanted to stay in that same place, in that room. I could make it Biafra or somewhere like that. I could make it Bavaria. I could make it Bavaria or something like that. Really pretty. Why would I want to move? I'm willing to bet my Kubota tractor, and you know how much I'd miss that little machine, that the voice and person you had driving you to move on was neither Danny nor me. Truth. A little sparky but friendly. What? Are you saying I don't know who I'm talking to? Now, remember what I was telling you about the time frame? Earlier, he was aware of that section where I explained to him about how spirit will take us on. I think it was the one before this or the one before that one. But it's not in this one. You know, it's like having to try and read a book where, which page does this fit in? Geez, hang on. It's all over the place. Okay. Both Danny and I have given angels, so I said there, both Danny and I have given angels high levels spirits or guides, permission to use our voice and imagery. If it helps, it will help you move on from that lonely place where you've been. So again, I'm just explaining it, even though I had before. you know. So, Sam, so who am I talking to now? It's me, and you should be able to tell the difference, because when you're actually chatting with Danny or me, we will seem more distant and unclear to the other Pete and the other Danny, because spirit are right there. Shit, Mrs. Sam, shit, you've got me confused now. Okay, when we seem clear and strong and you just know we're right, then you can bet you're chatting with those communists that we talked about in the first, second or third, wherever it was, vlog. Damn, I'll never be allowed to forget that one, will I? He laughed. Mate, I know nothing about the windows other than the hospital to Garilba and the Switzerland one, meaning the one that when Danny and I were together in Harvey Bay. I had nothing to do with the Riviera one, and I'm sure Danny had nothing to do with any of them. And where are we? Well, I was on this yacht on the Riviera, a very swanky place with topless girls and partying and drugs and all that sort of stuff. It was nothing like I've ever experienced before, but Danny kept appearing and telling me I couldn't stay there and that I had to go through another window. He was really forceful about it, and stubborn as well. You were there, but not as forceful. You were leaving it to Danny because you were saying I was more likely to listen to him than to you. Now, again, this is confusing, because now where is he at? Was this the Riviera one that was earlier where he talked to me, and then Spirit had come through as Danny, by the sounds of it, and said to him, okay, enough of this, you got to leave the boat now and you've got to move on. I think that's what that was all about. And he didn't like it. Don't blame him. I'd like to have been there too. Pete, so you must have been at the Riviera before Switzerland, before Danny and I had that combination session with you. Is that right? Bit confused. Yeah, I think so. And again, there's the confusion. So the spirit friends then say to me, Pete, remember time for Sam is all over the place. Okay, well, I've already said that to you guys before. Past can be future and future can be past. Like I say, pages out of a book. That can be anything, all over the place. Yeah, I was spirit friends, yeah. So, Sam, not sure I understand any of this stuff yet. I just want to chill out, rest and enjoy this new experience. Me, I doubt you'll be going anywhere fast for quite some time. Too much sorting out to do, Sam. But it is important, click. Damn this thing. But it is important for you to know that when Danny and I, or others that may come to you, make suggestions to you like that Danny on the boat, it's probably not who you think it is at all, but angels who are there 24/7 caring for you and basically mimicking us, but with our permission. How do I know I can trust them? Well, from when you pass over from the Bundy Hospital to now, how far have you come? Oh, a hell of a long way. I tried to explain that to you last time we chatted, I think. It's hard to explain. It's not a distance, but growth. Again, see, it's not distance, time, it's growth. That's the timing in spirit, growth. Knowing things, realising stuff like that. So you are opening your mind to other options compared to when you were down here. Yeah, definitely. Wouldn't have gone anywhere near that stuff down there. And do you think you did that on your own? Bit of a chuckle. No, you and Danny. And now you're saying that there was others up here as well. He kept prodding me. Well, I guarantee you it wasn't us alone. Keep listening to those others. They are leading you onward and upward. Time? Good. Onward and upwards. So any of those that come into my head or appear to me, they're all good and I should trust them. To put it simply, Sam, any voice or feeling that has you wanting to go against that moving on. In other words, the feeling you have, stay here, this is nice, this is peaceful, just don't do anything. Wanting to say here, those voices are the ones you must ignore, because they're not spirit voices, they're his own. Just stay here. It's death. That's what death's all about. Don't move, yeah. He would eventually have to, whether he liked it or not, he would have had to. But our spirit friends have told us that their aim with us and Sam, beside the fact of having this fantastic story, was to show us and Sam, but show us how we can activate and help a person move on quickly in the spirit world, especially someone who had no belief in an afterlife, as we said. Okay. To put it simply, they will have you feeling sad. That's the stay where you are. They'll have you feeling sad, feeling lonely, and unable to brighten up in any way. Sam, then why did the one mimicking Danny have me wanting to leave the Riviera? I was happy there. Well, obviously, because that wasn't where he's meant to be. The Riviera is a nice place in that dream state, but he had to move on. It's a bit like, I guess when you think about it, it's a bit like when you're in a dream. It's absolutely a beautiful dream and you've got to wake up because you've got to go for a piddly break, or it's time to get up and the alarm goes off, or similar. After he said that, I said, because you had to move on. Thinking back, I'll bet your mind was not interested in expanding in those thoughts you mentioned earlier into the higher realm. The area you won't normally have the areas you wouldn't normally have ventured into. No way. Where are we going? Good. I have to keep the time up. No way, he said. I was happily enjoying a carnal wonderland. Laughter. Wow, got a lot to think about then, haven't I? Should have known coming to you I'd get bombarded with stuff. Laughter. We're coming up to, these are interesting. These are all coming up to about the same time. I said, I feel you're starting to tire, old mate. Do you want to continue? There was quietness and there was stillness, and then my spirit friend said, he's gone, but he left very happy and smiling. Thank you, Pete, for your patience, and please pass this on to Danny. He needs to know he is the greatest friend Sam could ever have known. I 100% agree with that. Okay, I will, my friends in spirit, thank you. Oh, and I wanted to ask Sam if he'd be in contact with Gaynor Nursing. Oh, and I wanted to ask Sam if he had been in contact with the nursing home at Gaynor, and if he was the one moving the curtains. But I guess that will have to come at a later time, assuming there will be a next time. And that was the end of the session. Now, because I got to kill, a lot of time in this one, haven't I? There's people, I can't go into too much, obviously, because it's a business, it's a hospital. But there'd been comment made to me that around the time that Sammy had passed over, there was a way of me knowing that there'd been night staff who, and in fact a lot of stuff goes on in retirement places or hospitals generally where there's passings over. I mean, any nurse will tell you there are encounters, but they don't know they don't know necessarily how to explain it or express it. But this was said to me secondhand, and the person was concerned for the person who had it happen to them in the nursing home. And so that's how I got to pass on information from this person to that person about what goes on. Now, it seems that what had happened is this person was on the night shift. She had this sensation that there was someone up the corridor, and so she, nothing worrying, it was, someone must have got out of bed or whatever, so she went up the corridor, and on the way she looked into the room where I think Now, I'm not sure of this bit, but I think Sammy had been in that room. And as she looked in, the curtains were moving. And I said to this, that stage, I said to her, oh, well, I don't know what that's all about, why would the curtains want to be moving? It wasn't until later, and I haven't put this in the story because it's after the story, after this, I realised that was that the curtains that Sam opened up. And it was in that place, not the private hospital where he passed away, but in the nursing home where he had left and gone down to the private hospital, was at the curtains. Because the curtains apparently were open. Or moved. I'm not sure if they were opened or moved. Gets more curiouser, and I've still got to kill time. What have I got here that I might be able to fill in with? It's coming up to the 29th of July 2018, and I'll give you a little preview. It was on the Sunday the 29th of July when Sam unexpectedly called on me. I'd been battling with a persistent cold and feeling quite run down since the first week in June, so I really wasn't looking to make contact with him. Not having heard from Sam for quite some time, I assumed that he had moved on. So I've got 2 minutes to kill. So at about 1:30, when I usually head down for a poppy snooze, I have a midday snooze, being an old fart. I felt he was around me, and I checked with my guides. Yes, it was Sam, and they said he'd be back again around 3 a.m. and I woke up. I'm surprised he didn't. Hey, you awake? He probably did. All right, so now I'll leave that. It's we've got time. We're coming up to 27 minutes anyway. I'll leave that bit. I'll even read that part in the beginning of the next one. Again, the most important thing to mention with this whole get-together is the pages. How the pages are all over the place. Now, I suppose I could sit down and... No, I couldn't, because it throws it all out of synchronisation. It's coming through as I've written it. That, with the dates exactly as I got it. So you can't change that. But, he was... One time he's euphoric, and the next, only a month or so after, whatever it was, he's down again and referring to a time before. So the whole time continuum had been thrown out of whack. And I think that's the case generally. And I've got to, maybe we could look at that, and you could look at this too, if you've had cases of friends in spirit, and there's been a time... what's the word? Quandary. Weird timing. I don't know. But we'll look at that next time. Not in the series. I've got enough on my plate. Okay. Stop hitting the table. You're waking everybody up over there. Thank you, my friends. Catch you on the next one. What was that? 7, wasn't it? And I'm coming up to 8, I think. No, we'll find out when we get there. Thank you again for putting up with me. Catch you on the other side.